Good evening, Rachel Trahan. I live at 1720 North Bayland Street, exactly 1 block north of the Coca-Cola building. And I could spend my 3 minutes detailing the ways in which I believe my family's quality of life would have been impacted had that project moved forward. But instead, the issue before you tonight, Council, is a semantic one. The current land development use code regarding correction centers is entirely too vague. It's mentioned one time in my knowledge under M1 letter N, where it allows community correction centers. It is this vagueness that I believe got the city and the state into trouble in North Hill. The Coca-Cola building is zoned C3 and R1 AAA, but allegedly because the state termed the center administrative, even though it was a facility that would have brought in 250 to 300 probationers and parolees per day to my street, it was allowed under C3. But administrative or not, the planned facility was a correction center. The language change proposed by Councilman Bare and approved by the Planning Board on July 8th leaves little error by redefining community correctional centers and by specifically dictating that whether residential or non-residential, all types of correction centers belong at least a quarter of a mile from schools, churches, playgrounds, etc., and by including the conditional use clause requiring public notice. Most, if not all, of the neighborhoods in the city will be protected from having a center like this built next door to their home. I've heard some talk that if the code is changed as proposed, there will be a dearth of appropriately zoned lots in the city. Well, then I say the facility can go to the county. The city of Pensacola needs to host homes and businesses, filling our limited city landscape with taxable properties that will increase revenues for the city. We need to continue to draw people back into the city to live, not propel them out. I don't live in the articulated historic district. I'm 3 blocks north of that amorphous line. I actually live in Councilman Canada Wynn's district in a modest old cottage. My neighbors and I choose to live where we live because of proximity to downtown shops, businesses, restaurants, and because we love to live in a mixed-use area. We are not opposed to development, especially if it were to save a building like the historic Coca-Cola site. We are not opposed to corrections. It's, of course, a vital service. What we are opposed to is any neighborhood, not just ours, being host to a center that would bring an influx of persons who have been suspected of or convicted of crime into an area that is home to children and families. This is not a NIMBY issue. It is a NIABI one, not in anyone's backyard. And I believe that Councilman Bare's language will help this to not go in anyone's backyard. I want to take my last very few seconds to thank you personally, Councilman Bare, for all you've done. I've been on the North Hill Board twice now, and it's your face that I see at our meetings. It's you who I see at our events. It's you who fought alongside us during this issue. You brought it to Planning Board, and you brought it here tonight. And I want to thank you for all you've done to fight alongside the families of North Hill.
Thank you. Councilman Bare.